this episode of our podcast, we'll be discussing recent policy developments at the Trinidad Tobago Unit Trust Corporation. So let's get into it. As one of the largest financial institutions in the English-speaking Caribbean, over the past several weeks, speculation has been rife regarding the decision taken by the Unit Trust Corporation of Trinidad Tobago to remove its price guarantee provision from its flagship product known as the Growth and Income Fund in February 2026. In one post on social media, which has since gone viral, the content creator can be heard admonishing the investment public to be vigilant in light of the recent decision by the Unit Trust Corporation to remove the price guarantee provision. The clear implication of the post is that there is now some concern regarding the security and the sanctity of the funds held in the Growth and Income Fund. Because the Unit Trust Corporation is such an integral part of the institutional fabric of the financial landscape, not only of Trinidad and Tobago, but indeed of the wider Caribbean, and due to the levity of the post on social media, I thought it may be helpful to share my own views on the recent development and to provide further clarification on what is clearly an extremely important matter which has grabbed the attention of the investment public, particularly so the retail investing public. Before addressing the specific issue of the removal of the price guarantee provision, however, it may be helpful to contextualize the discussion by providing some background information on the Unit Trust Corporation itself. So here we go. The Unit Trust Corporation, which was established in 1982, is a mutual fund company and financial services institution providing leading-edge mutual funds and collective investment schemes in Trinidad and Tobago and in the wider Caribbean. Put simply, it's an organization that collects money from investors or the public and uses those proceeds to purchase a diversified portfolio of investments, which is in turn managed by professional fund managers. The Trinidad Tobago Unit Trust Corporation has been a pioneer in many respects and was one of the very first entities in the Caribbean to popularize investments in mutual funds at the retail market or the mass market level. With over 500,000 subscribers or clients today, and approximately $4 billion in funds under management, the Trinidad Tobago Unit Trust Corporation is a major player in the regional financial landscape, particularly as it relates to the mutual fund arena. From its modest beginnings in 1982, today the Unit Trust Corporation has grown so large that it is currently designated as a systematically important financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago. While the returns on the individual funds of the Unit Trust Corporation over the past years have not been spectacular, and this is consistent with other local and regional funds as well, any objective assessment of the entity must conclude that it played a major role in catalyzing and popularizing investments in mutual funds and other investment-related products by the mass market and retail investors more generally. Today, the Unit Trust Corporation offers 9 individual investment products, both denominated in Trinidad and Tobago dollars as well as in US dollars. These include its TT Dollar Income Fund, its US Dollar Income Fund, its Calypso Macro Index Fund, and various other global investor ETF funds with varying degrees of risk tolerances, including conservative, modest, and aggressive risk appetites. However, and this must be stressed, the Unit Trust Corporation flagship product is its TT Dollar Growth and Income Fund, the very fund for which the price guarantee provision is now being removed. With a fund size of just over 4.9 billion TT dollars, the Growth and Income Fund is historically significant as the very first unit scheme launched by the Unit Trust Corporation and the core offering around which the Unit Trust Corporation built its entire edifice. It is denominated in Trinidad Tobago dollars, and it combines elements of both growth and income investing. In terms of its investment strategy and portfolio composition, the fund offers growth primarily through its exposure and investment in local equities, primarily the shares of companies listed on the local stock market. With respect to its income component, this is attained through its investment in fixed income securities, such as government and corporate bonds. Needless to say, for decades, the Growth and Income Fund has been one of the largest funds by assets under management within the Unit Trust Corporation suite of products, reflecting both investor confidence and its central role in the corporation's product lineup. We come now to the central issue. What is exactly the price guarantee provision, and why was it necessary? In 1985, the Unit Trust Corporation introduced the price guarantee provision. Under this arrangement, unit holders or investors in the Growth and Income Fund who held their units or investments continuously for a minimum of 3 years from the date of purchase or investment would be provided with a guarantee or assurance that whenever they redeemed their investment in the future or liquidated their investment, the value at which they liquidated or redeemed that investment would not be lower than their initial investment value. In other words, the Unit Trust organization provided what in investment terms is called a floor below which the investment would never fall. So why was this floor necessary? Why was this guarantee necessary? When the Unit Trust Corporation was first established in 1982, the investment environment in Trinidad and Tobago was, to put it mildly, in its infancy or nascent stage. The investing public was highly skeptical of investing more broadly and was extremely wary of any complex or sophisticated financial instrument. Up until that point, the primary outlet for investing for the public were fixed deposits and other savings products offered by the domestic banks. Consequently, in order to entice the public and to provide a certain level and degree of comfort to invest in what was a significant financial innovation at the time, the price guarantee provision was offered as an attractive and helpful inducement, as it assured the investing public that there would be no diminution in the value of the investment once it was maintained in the fund for a minimum of 3 years. While this safeguard provision was initially intended as only a temporary measure, over time, the investing public, especially those individuals investing in the Unit Trust Corporation, came to see the price guarantee provision as an integral and perhaps permanent part of the product. With the overwhelming success that the Unit Trust Corporation was, other financial institutions, and particularly banks, soon started taking notice. And they too began pioneering and introducing their own family of mutual fund products, starting with the Royal Bank in 1994, Republic Bank in 1999, and Scotiabank in 2012, just to name a few. The interesting thing to note here, however, is this. Even though some of these funds were quite similar in structure and composition to the funds offered by the Unit Trust, especially the Growth and Income Fund, none of these new products carried with them the price guarantee provision that the Unit Trust Growth and Income Fund had. More importantly, for the purpose of this discussion, the lack of the price guarantee provision in these products, these newer products, did not prevent these competitors' funds from attracting hundreds of millions of dollars in investment from the investing public. A prime example of this is the Trinidad Tobago Income and Growth Fund, which today currently stands at in excess of $1.9 billion, TT dollars that is, in assets under management. So what does the removal of the price guarantee provision mean for those investors currently invested or contemplating investing in the Unit Trust Growth and Income Fund? The answer here is twofold. For those investors who at February 2nd, 2026 would have had their funds invested in the Growth and Income Fund for a minimum of 3 years, the decision by the corporation to remove the price guarantee provision does not and will not change their standing. In other words, they will continue to benefit from the guarantee. However, for those new investors investing in the Growth and Income Fund of the Unit Trust Corporation for the first time after February 2nd, 2026, they will no longer be covered by the price guarantee provision. However, there is nothing here to be alarmed about. This decision by the corporation simply puts those investors, those new investors, in an identical position to other investors who are currently invested and indeed investing in the growth and income products being offered by banks and other major financial institutions in Trinidad and Tobago and across the wider Caribbean. The decision, therefore, by the Unit Trust simply places the organization on a level playing field with similar funds and mutual funds on the domestic and regional market, and it is also consistent with the current level of maturity of the market. So as we wrap up today, I would like to leave you with the following thoughts. The Trinidad Tobago Unit Trust Corporation has been managing investments for over 42 years. Through market highs and market lows, it has delivered consistent results and built trust with generations of investors. As of November 30th, 2025, the Growth and Income Fund has delivered an annualized rate of return for investors of 7.63%, with a total distribution exceeding 2.98 billion TT dollars since its inception. This performance compares favorably with the annualized rates of return of 9.8% for the S&P 500 and 11.5% for some of Vanguard's flagship mutual funds. These funds, the latter two, have access to deeper and more developed capital markets, making the Unit Trust performance even more outstanding during this period. So while the recent decision surrounding the removal of the price guarantee provision may, on the face of it, sound concerning, it does not change the solid foundation on which the corporation has built its stellar reputation over the past 4 decades. Something to think about. A word to the wise.